Hi everybody and welcome back to another instalment of the FuzzBeard Industries pedal demos. This is the second video that I've done. The previous one was for FuzzBeard Industries Vermin, which is a bass-friendly distortion pedal with a clean blend. Remember to check that one out, the video for that one on my channel after you're done watching this one. Anyway, having learned a few things from the last video, let's get started on video number 2. So the start of the show today is going to be a straight up clone of the DAM Meaty, built by request from my internet buddy Noel. So Noel's been a Facebook friend of mine for a while now, and having spent a few years trading various music recommendations between us, as soon as he found out I was building pedals, he jumped at the chance to get hold of something unique from me. He's been putting together some gear to make a little one-man doom stroke drone kind of project for the last few months now, and yeah, like I say, he just wanted to get something horrible that he could use to make some disgusting fuzz tones with. So yeah, this gave me the perfect excuse to finally have a go at building a meathead, which was something I wanted to try for a while. And as usual, we gave it the old Fuzz Beard treatment to make sure it was all fancy looking and make sure his pedal was one of a kind. So, ladies and gentlefarts, I present to you the Meaty boy. Check her out there. Well, check him out there, I should say. So, let me just flip back to my script here. So as you can see, it's a single knob fuzz, in keeping with the standard meathead design. There's other versions of the meathead, including the 3-knob deluxe model. It's got controls for volume, tone, and sort of fuzz gain, whatever you want to call it. I think on the actual original, it's I think it's something like level, filter, and attack. But yeah, does the same thing. We kept it simple for this build, and we just went with the single control labelled girth. So as you can see here, on the meathead, on the single knob version, that would just be labelled meat. But as we wanted something a little bit different, we were trying to make it its own thing for Noel. Girth. Yeah, bit of that. Everyone loves a bit of girth. Now, as with most builds from FuzzBeard Industries, I've worked with the client to try and produce something that's kind of exclusively theirs, meaning that they get a pedal that looks like no one else's, and this one's no different. So if we bring it back into shot again, as you can see, try not to miss my desk when I lean on it. So yeah, as you can see, if we start at the top, we've got this big old retro looking pointer knob I scored whilst picking over the bones of the local Maplin store when it was closing down recently. Either side of that, we've got the in and out arrows, so you know where you put in your jacks at a glance. The jacks, as you can see, can't focus. The jacks, as you can see here, are they're side jacks rather than top jacks. I know a lot of people like the top jacks, but I find with a pedal like this sort of size, it works really well with the side jacks, especially if you have those little right-angled like patch cables like I do. Underneath the knob, you've got the old girth control that I mentioned before that, and then you've got the labelling FuzzBeard Industries Meaty boy. And right down below that, you'll see this fancy oversized anodized pink nut for the foot switch. I bought a bunch of these on offer from a supplier up in Edinburgh, Time Travel Audio. So if you're building stuff, check them out because they've got some good stuff to make your pedals look fancy. This one just happened to work really well with the enclosure with the paint on the enclosure, so it was pretty obvious as soon as I put it on there that it belonged on this pedal. So now for the cool bit, bring it back up again. You'll notice most pedals, they will have a little LED somewhere, usually like up here or next to the switch or something like that. Now with this one, if you flip it on its side, you'll notice there's this little strip of perspex here. Now those of you that have been keeping up with my Instagram and my Facebook will know exactly what this has been used for. However, for those of you not in the know, this little plastic sliver here is called a light plate. You might have seen them on some like fancy light switches from like Home Depot if you're American, or the B&Q home base if you're from the UK. And it's just a little sheet of plastic with some LEDs in it that goes between your light switch and the wall, and it means you can find the light switch in the dark. No more fumbling, nice and handy. Same kind of principle applies here. So what you've got is basically just a clear sheet of perspex plastic like this. It's cut to the size of the enclosure, the base of the enclosure, because with these enclosures the sides are slanted, so they're a bit narrower at the top. So yeah, this is cut to the size of the base of the enclosure, and if you flip it over, you can see there's a little track been machined all the way around, just inside the edge, just on the inside edge, and that is cut exactly to size to fit these ridges here on the base plate of the enclosure. So you put them together, boom, nice and secure, they're not going anywhere. Now what you do then, you get your enclosure screws. That was just slightly longer than the ones you'd normally use, because obviously it's about half a centimetre, roughly 5-6 mil thicker. You know, this adding this light plate makes the enclosure about 5 or 6 mil deeper from top to bottom, so your normal screws won't work. And yeah, all you do, fit those two together like that, boom, in between the base plate and the enclosure, put your little light plate like that, screw your screws in, and it's secure. A nice little clear see-through perspex sandwich. Lovely jubbly. I mean, these are for like a smaller enclosure. These are for a 1590B, which is kind of like a size down from this one, which is a 125B, which is slightly larger in all dimensions, but yeah, exactly the same in principle. Anyway, back to that missing status indicator LED. For this build, I've replaced the LED you'd normally find on the face of the pedal with two super bright LEDs that have been drilled down into the light plate and wired up onto the switch in the same way you'd wire up like a single status LED indicator that would sit on the face of your pedal normally. When you kick the effect on, so yeah, I just hold it up here like this, so you can see the effect is off at the moment. That light plate is just see-through clear, it's not really doing anything fancy. However, when you switch it on, boom, the whole thing lights up. Yeah, check that out, it's pretty fancy. Now, you can't see it overly well in a bright room on this camera, but I assure you it is pretty fancy. Let me just turn the lights off here so you can get a bit more of an impression of what's happening. So once again, we've got it sat down here on the desk, just give you a bit of a closer view of what's going on. So yeah, as you can see, it's set to off at the moment. You can't see anything happening at all, and then boom, and it lights up nicely. I'll just knock the lights off so you can get a bit of a better effect. So off, boom, on. Looks pretty sweet, huh? So yeah, if you set it down on a surface like a pedal board or a stage floor or whatever, you get this little halo effect around the pedal too. So no more problems with your boot covering the LED when you try and stomp on the switch and wondering if your pedal has actually come on, because all you can hear is awful band swamp due to a crappy stage mix or whatever. Of course, I matched the LED colour with that, the paint and the nut for full effect, and I have to say I think it's come out rather well. Alright, time to test this bad boy.